Welcome to the Coffee and Kidlit Show. We've got an exciting show here with Teydon Rae. Teydon is the author of the Kami Koala series, and we'll be talking about the first one in the series, Kami Koala Makes a Decision. Teydon was able to publish this book and fund it through Kickstarter. So we'll be talking a little bit about how she was able to successfully fund it through Kickstarter. And Teydon, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I know it's really early for you. We were just talking about this before we went live, that you were in Arizona. So I know it's super early for you. I'm in Norway, so it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a little unfair for all of you West Coasters. So thank you. For anyone who might be watching this and you're unfamiliar with the Coffee and Kidlit Show, I like to invite authors of children's books onto the show to talk about sort of the inspiration and the journey behind publishing their children's books. And so if you like that kind of content, I really encourage you to hit the subscribe button and tune in as I interview awesome authors like Teydon Rae. And just to give a little housekeeping here, today's a little bit different in that my second book, which is called Never Ever Build a Blanket Fort, is actually on the way. The very first shipment of it is on the way to the house right now. And it may actually arrive while we're live on the show here. So if that happens, I've got my phone plugged in and we'll do kind of a backstage tour and go receive those books outside. So anyways, once again, we're going to talk to Teydon about Kami Koala Makes a Decision. And Teydon, if you don't mind, just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your background.
Sure. So I'm a mom. I've got 6 kids, and I started writing books when I was really young. These stories that I have coming out are from stories that I actually wrote when I was in 4th grade. So I pulled them out. They all had little themes, and I like to read stories with my kids. And I know that stories, help kids be able to relate to characters that they can learn lessons from. And having 6 kids, it was super important for me to write stories and have stories for them. So as they've gotten a little older, I decided, the world could use this, and so I published them. And I'm in the process of publishing more. So I'm excited for that. I live on our little family farm here in Arizona, and it's been a joy. So I'm a business owner. I also raise Australian Shepherds, and I do a little foot zoning. And so that's a little bit about me.
So is that all you raise, Australian Shepherds, or what else is on your farm?
So we have horses, goats, and then we kind of go from different animals, seasonally as things come up with my kids. But we've had pigs in the past. We usually have chickens. We've had turkeys. We just kind of go through different types of animals depending on what the kids are wanting to do. So.
That's really fun. Our family is sort of kind of considering doing the homesteading thing in the future. We don't know if that'll become a reality or not, but it's certainly a little dream that I have to have some animals and have, like a nice garden and everything. My kids especially want rabbits right now, and a dog and a cat. So
awesome.
Yeah, we don't have any pets right now. And honestly, I don't have much experience with animals at all or gardening. Is that?
Well, and it's super fun for the kids to learn about life through, animals, because things happen and, life happens. But as they learn it at a young age with animals, I think it's just more, they can adjust more to real life stuff as they become adults. So it's been very good for my kids.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned that you wrote this book in 4th grade, you said?
Yes.
And I just think that's really awesome. And I didn't realize until I was looking at the Kickstarter for the sequel that was written about the same time, I guess.
Yes. So I was in a class with a teacher that we wrote all year round. And so we were constantly writing about different things. It could have been it might have been fiction, nonfiction. She just had us write about, we were just constantly doing the writing process. Our peers were editing. We were, going through the whole creative writing process for each each section that we were going through throughout the year. So these are a few of those stories from that time.
That's really neat. So the very first book, Kami Koala Makes a Decision. Just tell us a little bit about what this story is. You can just kind of give a little summary.
Okay. So so Kami's a young koala girl, and she struggles to make decisions. And so she goes throughout the book trying to make different decisions, and ultimately she has a little rhyme that helps her to come up with the decision. And by the end of the book, she ultimately creates her best day, and then she gains confidence, like, I can make decisions, I'm good at this. And that's the whole point, is to give kids a little confidence boost, like Kami, like, you can do this, you can make a decision, and it can be exactly what you want it to be. So that's kind of what the book's about.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's such an important topic to help kids make decisions, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. But you already mentioned that you wrote the book as a child in 4th grade, but what inspired you to pull that back out and introduce the book again and actually publish it and put it out there for others?
So I was having a daughter that was having a really hard time with making decisions, and we were having meltdowns and just frustration. I thought, okay, I'm going to help her. We're going to pull the story out, so hopefully this can help her, give her a little bit of encouragement and a little tool with a little rhyme that she can, be able to make daily decisions, whether it be, how she wants her hair, or, what clothes to put on, or, different things that can just be so overwhelming sometimes for a child. So we pulled it out and did that, and I thought, you know what, I can publish this and make this available for other kids, because so many kids struggle with making decisions, and parents struggle with having kids with meltdowns and anxiety, and decision making skills are so important to help with all of that stuff. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, I decided, and it's a character, who doesn't love a little koala, right? So
Right.
I'll publish this and see how it goes.
Well, since you mentioned that, why did you come up with the koala? I mean, of course, this is maybe something you developed back when you were in 4th grade, but what
Right.
was your thought process behind that?
So I've loved koalas since I was really young, and I always had little stuffed koala bears. Like I remember doing a little project on koalas, learning more about them when I was really young, and I've just always really liked them. So that just happened to be the character that I chose when I was in 4th grade for this story, and I just stuck with it. When I was right after my senior year of high school, I actually got to go to Australia with a group of kids, and I got to hold a koala, so that was pretty cool for me. So, I've just really loved koalas my whole life. So,
Yeah, that's really cool. I for my own book, Ada and the Helpers, I have a fox as the main character, and to be
okay.
honest, I don't know why I picked the fox. It's just one of those things. It's like the first animal, I guess, that came to mind. Maybe I don't know, but yeah,
And
it
it's a
works.
really cute
So,
fox. You did
yeah.
you picked well.
I guess so, yeah. And of course, Melissa, my illustrator, had a lot to do with that. But I guess I was thinking, she's a deaf character. She has big ears, so that kind of ties into it.
Yeah,
So, do you hear a buzzing sound?
I don't.
Okay, it's just my end then. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about decision making. Why do you think is such an important thing to help kids with making decisions at an early age?
So it helps with anxiety and breakdowns, which a lot of young kids have. And I think more and more kids are getting that, especially after COVID. It seems like so many kids, have anxiety and have breakdowns and feel like they don't have as much control as they'd like to have. And
Yeah.
if they can learn decision-making skills and learn that there's things in their life that they can have control over and feel confident about, it just is so helpful, and it can help them later on in life as well. It can give them self-confidence, trust, empathy, decisiveness, and even thoughtfulness, which who doesn't want that for their kid, you know? Um,
Right.
so those are all so important in life. And I just really feel like if more and more kids really focused on trying to make decisions and realizing that, you know what, they can do it, and just building that self-confidence from a young age, then hopefully we won't have so many um, devastating things that, as they grow into teens and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I didn't really think of the connection between making decisions and anxiety, and it's really interesting. I've had a couple of other authors on the show that have books that sort of face that anxiety theme, and yeah, I think it's great that we're having so many books come out to sort of just start that conversation with children about things like making decisions and other things that can help sort of make life a little easier for them,
Right.
especially like you said, in this time with coming out of the pandemic. Here in Norway, we're already out of the pandemic. I don't know how it is there. I don't know what's going on there. I still see masks and things,
Yeah,
so I'm not really
it's
sure.
still there, somewhat, and there's
Yeah.
different pockets of things,
Yeah,
but I think that we just have the residual of that, of
exactly.
the mental health concerns that came from that. So I just, as kids can learn to be more decisive and gain that self confidence, that hopefully they can overcome and realize that no matter what happens, they do have control.
Mm, yeah. There was something fun. I was reading through this book with my youngest. She's 4 years old, and I pointed out the lizard on one page,
Yes,
and
he is so cute, isn't he?
he is, and he's on the back. I'm assuming it's the same lizard that's on the
Yes.
back, but
Uh-huh.
but he's very small on at least every spread, and sometimes both sides. Like he's over here, kind of hanging out on the chair, and what was sort of behind the decision to include him? Was it your decision, or was that something that the illustrator kind of did?
No, it
What's
was
the
my
story behind that?
decision.
Yeah.
The goanna lizard, I think, is a really cool Australian lizard. And I was really excited to have something that kids could look for as kind of a bonus and throughout the book. And so
Mhm.
I asked my illustrator to put him in illustrations, and hide him a little bit, so it could be a little bit of a fun thing for kids to look for it and to see if they can find. So some are more obvious than others, but it's a fun little bonus for the book, just to look through the illustrations. So every illustration has him either hidden or just kind of out there in it. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I really love Easter eggs like that. I think it's so
Yeah.
fun. And like I said, I was showing it to my daughter, and she began to point it out on every page. She would say, "Oh, there's the lizard. There's the." She loved it.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a bit more about the publishing journey behind this book, and your use of Kickstarter to fund the printing and other expenses that you had, as well as the sequel for the Kami Koala series. But before we get into that, I just want to ask a few questions with what I like to call the lightning round.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. But this is the Coffee and Kidlit Show. Do you drink coffee?
I don't.
I've had more authors than I thought I would say that. And that's okay. I've got nothing against non-coffee drinkers. It was a long time before I started drinking coffee. So yeah, that's okay. What's your drink of choice?
I like water. I'm a water
Yeah.
drinker, so I just drink lots of water.
Coming from the South, it was sweet tea for me. Sweet
Okay.
tea was my water, and I eventually had to give that up. And I drink a lot of water and coffee are usually the two drinks that I stick to now. So
Okay.
yeah, that's good. Um, Thinking back to your childhood, what was your favorite children's book?
Um,
Or
I
Yeah,
had so many, but
ones that
one
you
that
remember.
sticks out to me was Danny and the Dinosaur, and I don't know if that's super well known, but uh, Sid Hoffman was the author to that, and he came and visited our school. And so I think that, and I remember, I think I was in first grade, and I think that's what kind of got me excited about writing was having an author visit. And, and he was also the illustrator for that book. And so, he would show us how he illustrated and the steps he used to illustrate and talk about his book. And that just got me super excited. And so that's super memorable. But of course, I loved all the classics. I loved Beverly Cleary and all her Ramona and Beezus books and Henry Huggins and all those things. There was just so many that I read and loved, but that Danny and the Dinosaur was the one that stuck out the most, I think.
That's great. What about for your kids? What's the last book that you read to your kids?
How Do Dinosaurs Say Goodnight?
Yeah,
That's a family favorite at bedtime.
yeah.
I had three boys, and they love dinosaurs, so that's a fun one.
Sticking to the dinosaur theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, just if you're tuning in right now, I'm talking with Teydon Rae, who's the author of the Kami Koala series. This is the first one in the series. Kami Koala Makes a Decision. She has another one coming out soon. And you're also the author of The Three Monsters and the Crazy King, which I have here. And I'm going to have you on the show in a few weeks to talk about this one. So that'll be exciting. But let's just talk a little bit about when you published Kami Koala Makes a Decision. You used something called Kickstarter.
Yes.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding campaign where you basically invite people to pre-order the book, as well as maybe some other materials or just fun swag to go along with the book. And it just helps to raise the funds to print the book and cover any other expenses that an author might need. So talk to us a little bit about your journey with Kickstarter, and you successfully funded the first book. So what was that like with Kickstarter?
That was a huge learning curve, and I was super skeptical at first. I didn't know if that was an avenue I wanted to pursue with it, but I knew that I really wanted to do the offset printing, and that would be the only way that I could be able to fund that. So I thought, okay, what is it going to hurt? I'll give it a try, and that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's like a full-time job, and you're constantly on social media and contacting businesses and media and friends and coworkers and different things, all different avenues to try to get your book funded. And with it, I want to say it was the last week or maybe two, I was not quite there yet. And Brandon Sanderson had a Kickstarter going on at the same time, and he ended up funding it. And then
Yeah.
and so that was pretty cool because he broke records in Kickstarter. And so
Yeah.
and then he made a YouTube video of the projects that he was funding, and mine happened to be one of them. So the last couple hours of my campaign, his YouTube video went live, and many of his backers came and backed mine as well. That was pretty awesome.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember that. I went
that
back
was a
and watched.
really cool experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have that this time, but I've learned a lot about Kickstarter, and you don't always make your goal, and it's hard work to run a campaign, but you learn something every time, and hopefully your book gets out there to so that other people can be aware of it and help it move along and share it with other people. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember that. I actually went back and watched Brandon's video where he was funding all of these campaigns for other authors. And it was just so cool to watch that. Seems like a really nice guy to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he made, I don't even remember the exact number, but it was millions, and
right.
on Kickstarter, and for him to give back like that was pretty incredible.
And I remember that kind of spun off, and other authors started doing the same thing. They started looking for ways to help each other and help each other succeed. So
Yeah,
I think it's really great. That's the beautiful thing about the author community, is that we're all in this together. We're not competitors. There's
right.
room for everyone, and we can support each other.
Yeah, the author
Um,
community has been so helpful, and I've learned so much just being part of author groups. Um, yeah, everyone is just so willing to share their knowledge and experience, and I hope that I can do that as well. But
mm,
um, yeah, it's been so fun to meet everybody, and it's amazing how you just, even over social media, you can make friends with new authors and things, and become friends, and that's kind of been fun too.
that's right. Yeah. So I was just kind of scrolling through your first Kickstarter campaign and showing what that looks like, and I love that you have all the graphics, and of course there's a video here where others can sort of watch a book trailer, and then you go into explaining kind of the background behind the book and why decision making is so important for kids, and then you talk a little bit about what you offer with the book and different things like that. And so it's just a really great campaign for helping authors reach their goal and get their books printed. What did you learn from this first campaign?
I learned that uh, family and friends aren't your target audience. They're nice, and some of them will support you, but not. It's hard for them to get behind when they feel like it's this is kind of your business, and so um, it's just a little bit different. So it's really important to reach out and not rely on family and friends to kind of to get you to your goal, and so that's been a learning experience. And while there are some family and friends that are super big fans, that's not the case for the majority, and that's okay. Everybody has there's different stages in life and what they're doing, and so it's just important to find your niche and to really hone down on what you're trying to accomplish and who you're targeting, and then go after those individuals and businesses.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I kind of fell for that for my own campaign. My first one was successful with Ada and the Helpers, but when I tried to fund my second book, Never Ever Build a Blanket Fort, it was just dead in the water. It went nowhere, and I ended up canceling that. And yeah, I've talked about that before, but you definitely can't depend on your own family and friends. You have to work on building your audience and finding the right audience. I think that's so important,
Right.
and really just get them excited about the journey. Um, but one thing you did during this campaign that I really love, and I want to pull it up here again if I can, um, if I can find it here. No, it's about you wanted to support kids in Ukraine, I believe.
Yes. So the Ukrainian children refugees, I had an option on my Kickstarter that anybody that wanted to help support them could purchase a book that would be donated to the refugees. And we got a few takers on that, and that was been fun. So we had a whole box of books go over, and I never heard back on how it went, but I'm sure it was received well. I had a contact there that was able to deliver them, so I'm super excited about that. But of course, with all the chaos going over there, I didn't get any pictures or any feedback. But I,
Mhm.
I can only imagine that it helped, bring a little bit of joy to those children.
Yeah, that's really great, and I think it's looking for opportunities like that where we can give back. Just like helping the author community, we can also help the community at large by
Right.
giving
I
back.
also donated a box to the foster kids.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
so that's a local thing, and because a lot of children who are going through hard things and trauma, they can know that with making decisions, they can have a little bit of control in their life. And even though everything seems to be going kind of crazy on the outside with their family life, maybe, individually they can build some self-confidence and know that, that they can still be okay and be a leader and be, the leader of their life. So that's kind of the angle I was going with that. And hopefully that they feel that. And when I talked to the foster agency, they said, yeah, they will be giving those books out on birthdays to the children in their agency. So that was pretty exciting. That'll be their little birthday gift. So
yeah, that's really nice. For anyone who's watching this or may watch it in the future, just leave a comment or leave a message in the chat how you might be helping, either donating books to a cause or whatever the case may be. I'd love to hear how other authors are doing this. I'm looking for those opportunities myself. So I think it's great to hear from each other about that.
Yeah.
So if anyone is interested, and we are going to talk a little bit about your sequel and the Kickstarter behind that, but if anyone is interested in the first book of the series, Kami Koala Makes a Decision, the link is in the description of this video, and you can go to Amazon and purchase that. It's available now. But we also have the new one coming out, Kami Koala's Campfire Tale.
Yes.
I made that mistake earlier.
And I know that the tale has caused some confusion. They're like, "Are you sure you spelled that right? Is that really what you wanted to say?" And yes, that's that. I wanted it to be spelled like a tail, and because the story is about how the legend of how koalas lost their tails, and so it's a tale of a tale, and that's why I wanted to use a play on word, so it's a fun little story. I'm excited about it. It's about teaches the importance of listening skills, and we're at 25% funding with 10 days left, so it's getting down to the wire. But I know that lots of miracles can happen at the end of Kickstarter. You'd be amazed how many people can just get funded in the last few days. So I'm not giving up hope yet. We're still have a chance, and I've got some events planned that I'm hoping that it's going to help with that. So
that's great.
And I just added a new reward tier for my campaign. It's got I might say it wrong, but it's Aragumi, the crocheted koala character. So it's a Kami Koala custom handmade Aragumi, and to go along with the book. And it's so I'm hoping that's going to help others be able to, if their child wants something for to go along with the book to hold. Everybody likes a little cuddly thing, and I'm hoping to have them ready by Christmas. So that's kind of why I timed it right now to do the Kickstarter campaign. So hopefully I can have everything done and ready and going out in time for Christmas. So
I think I've seen some pictures of the crochet Kami. Do you have it there in the room with you, or
I don't actually?
Okay.
But
that's okay.
And I realized that I didn't even post that on my campaign. I need to do that because I have it on all my social media, but I don't have it actually on the campaign pictures. So I need to add that since it's a new reward, and so people will know what it actually looks like. But it's pretty cute. She's got cute little big ears. She's got her orange overalls and her little pink shirt. She's a cute little character. So I'm really excited about her, and I think kids are really going to enjoy her.
That's really great. I think it's so cool to see that, and I personally like that more than the stuffed animal characters. I don't know, something about the crochet. It just seems like higher quality toy or whatever you want to call it.
She should last a little bit longer, and it's a little bit more personable. So. Yeah, there's a local high school girl that's making them for me, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Cool.
Support local. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we're all just working together, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, we were talking about places to donate books and to give, and this is Book Reviews by Finn. She says, I'm in a lot of groups for children with medical issues and CHD, specifically and donate my book to families going through surgeries quite often.
Oh,
I
nice.
also donate to some nonprofits that send packages to kids going through medical issues. And she's happy to share some other groups to donate to as well if anybody's interested. So thank you for sharing that. That's Carly Valentine. She's been on the show before, and she's always so good about commenting. So thank you for being here. Book Reviews by Finn. And we're going to, I wanted to, how do I turn that off now? There we go. What I want to do is just show the trailer for your book.
Okay.
So hopefully, let me know if you can hear the audio for this.
Kami Koala's Campfire Tale. A great
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay.
listening skills book for kids ages 4 to 8 by Teydon Rae, illustrated by Jeanette Kapkak.
Hi, I'm Teydon Rae, wife, mom, author, and business owner.
This book started as a story that I wrote in 4th grade, then picked up a few years ago when my kids were having a hard time listening. Some of my kids were naturally better listeners than others, but all needed more development, which could get very frustrating for me and the child. Folk tales and legends are known for helping to teach lessons in a fun way. This story was a big part of our family's personal growth, as we were able to learn the importance of developing this skill right along with the main character. It's a story about a young koala girl named Kami. Kami Koala and her family are eager to spend their vacation in the Australian wilderness. The young koalas look forward to their evening campfires, where Uncle Kenny Koala always has a story to tell. This time, he has promised to tell Kami and her cousins his favorite story of all. Little do the young koalas know that they are about to learn the astonishing legend of why koalas don't have tails. The story is fun, adventurous, and engaging. Did you know that it is important for children to learn at a young age to listen and follow directions? Kids that have great listening skills have many great character traits such as self-confidence, self-esteem, understanding, respect, and thoughtfulness. Listening can open the door to incredible opportunities to interact in the world around them.
Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me and my family.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a great trailer. So tell us a little bit more. Of course, the trailer explained it a bit, but tell us about this sequel. And I'm going to close my door because I just realized my kids came home. So just a second.
So, yeah, the sequel here. So Kami, they're excited, to go camping it's a family little camp out, and Uncle Kenny is the everybody's favorite storyteller around the campfire, and so he tells the story of how the koalas lost their tails, and it's super fun, and it teaches the importance of listening, because there's a little koala who doesn't listen and ends up losing his tail due to a little terrorizing dingo that comes around their little town. So it's just about, it's important to listen for safety and for other reasons, and so it's a little fun tale that I think kids are really going to enjoy. I've had lots of kids and parents reading it, and they all seem to really like it, and it's getting great reviews from them. So I'm super excited to get it published. So it's pretty fun. It's fun to recreate. I don't have all the illustrations done yet, because I'm trying to have them. I wanted to get the Kickstarter done to be able to be ready for Christmas, and so we're kind of like doing it along the way here. So it's not all pre-done before my campaign like my first one. So it's a little different that way. But it's going to get there, and so I'm super excited about it. I've got the same illustrator, and she's awesome, and we've done all the character development and everything, and so it's going to come along just great.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's a great theme. It's something that I definitely need to read to my kids, and so I just wish you all the best with this book. You've got some ways to go, but you have 10 days left, and
Yes.
just watching other authors and my own journey with Kickstarter, the second one is always harder because, like you mentioned, friends and family aren't so willing to support the second time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that other authors and those who are really interested in this series and reading it to their kids will back your campaign. And the link to the Kickstarter is in the description of this video. So I hope if you are interested in this book that you will go and support Teydon Rae so that she can get this book printed. So tell us what is next. Are there other books in the series that you're planning? Do you have any sneak peeks to tell us about?
So I don't have another one ready yet in this series, but I do have another book that I'm working on. It's going to be about Australian shepherds, and the theme is going to be, and patience. And work ethics. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of after some of my dogs that I've had, and so it's going to be a fun little book there for all the dog lovers.
Yeah, that's dogs always sell. So that's a good choice. And with your connection to Australian Shepherds, I think that's awesome. So yeah, that we look forward to seeing that. So thank you, Teydon, for being on the show. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey with us
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a joy to be here.
Absolutely. And so once again, if you want Kami Koala Makes a Decision, you can go to Amazon. The link is in the description below. Go buy the book and then support the Kickstarter for the sequel. And in fact, in that Kickstarter, I imagine you can probably get this somehow. Do you have it part of?
There is an option to get that. Kami Koala Makes a Decision, as well as the Three Little Monsters and the Cranky King. So they're both on there as options and add-ons.
That's awesome. Yeah, so head on out there and pick that up in the Kickstarter campaign in the description below. Next week on the Coffee and Kidlit Show, I'm going to have a very special guest. Her name is Katie Petruzziello. Katie and I have a special bond because both of our books are inspired by our own daughters who are deaf and have cochlear implants. And we both sort of published about the same time. Mighty Mila is such a cute book about this little girl with cochlear implants who is just on the journey of growing up. And so Katie is going to be on the show next week. So I hope you'll join and watch for that. And also, I'll have Teydon on the show again in a few weeks to talk about the Three Little Monsters and the Cranky King. So tune in, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you'll come along. Thanks again, Teydon.
Thank you. We'll see everyone. Bye.